Hello, my name is Elvira Ruiz. I am lucky to be one of the managers at Forever Living Products, my home for over 40 years. Forever was very important to me and to my husband, Roberto. When I first met Rex, he impressed me with his intelligence and ambition. He had thousands of business owners, but he treated every one of us as an individual. He made you feel like you were the most important one. This was one of the special qualities of Rex. No matter who he was speaking to, he made you feel special and unique. He always counseled and pushed me to succeed. He helped me every step of the way. Rex encouraged me to branch out, to start my own groups, and to run my own meetings. With Rex's guidance and support, I went from being a housewife to being the first triple diamond manager. I appreciate that he saw my desire to succeed, and he gave me the tools to achieve it. Rex and Ruth will always have a special place in my heart. Rex was more than the founder of Forever Living. He was my mentor, my teacher, and most of all, my great friend. I will miss him very much. Gracias, gracias, Rex.
Well, I hope you're all enjoying the show so far. So many memories, so many opportunities to reminisce, so many reminders. But here I am sitting with Navaz Goswala, and a lady that needs no interruption. You've been at Rex's side for over 44 years. Can you believe that's even possible?
Yep, that's right.
Can you imagine?
As I've jokingly said, I was 5 when I started working for him, but that's probably not true. But it's a stretch anyway. But
I think it's fair to say that you, of all people, were the closest to Rex. He called you, I know he called you constantly. He confided in you, he talked to you, he respected your opinion, he asked for your opinion, he trusted you with every aspect of his professional life. And what was that like to be so close to Rex from the very beginning to the point now?
It was really interesting because I've worked since I was 16. And so I've worked for many different companies, both in Pakistan and then also in Canada, where I lived before I moved here. And the interview with Rex was just different. I mean, he's just so powerful when you enter the room, you know, I mean, he's like, just takes over and he grabs your attention right there. And obviously I was evaluating which company I wanted to work with as much as he was evaluating whether I would fit the bill. And the interesting thing was that I got 2 jobs on the very same day, the same afternoon were offered to me. And of course, then the dilemma of which one should I be taking. And my husband Darius said to me, just go where your heart tells you. And definitely my heart told me that Rex is the person I want to work with. I just felt that connection right from the very beginning. And frankly, he had more confidence in me than I had in myself. My first job in America, you know, you're trying to say, am I going to do things right? I spoke a little bit, like even my words like check, I wrote CHEQUE instead of check. And Rex said, don't change that, just keep it that way, you know. So he was just so supportive of everything. And of course you can do it. Yes, you can get it done. And then even when you did something, you know, he was always like very, very grateful, very thankful. So Rex surrounded himself with, you know, people he trusted. And then he gave them the leeway to go out and do things, you know. And also the other thing is he's always looking for other people's opinions. It's not like I own the company, I'm the boss. It was always a team. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a humbling experience to work for him. He didn't have any, you know, he didn't hold himself out as I'm the boss. He was Rex to everybody who met him, whether you're 5 years old or 100 years old. I mean, he was Rex, everybody on the staff. And he just was so endearing because he truly cared. And I think that's what made him so very special and made my work experience so fabulous with him because, and we connected. We absolutely connected, you know. And yes, he was calling me from all around the world.
I remember.
And that's right. And then the kids have said, when we're on vacation, he stops every payphone, you know, to pick up the phone. I'm like, oh, that's partially my fault, right? Because he's always connected. But I think the experience has been fabulous. I mean, because of him, forever's in my DNA.
Oh, yeah.
Become, you know, I am forever, and that's kind of what it is. But what an amazing individual to work for and learn from. And his entrepreneurial spirit and allowing me to participate in all the things he was doing and get people friendly in the world, work with people around the world, work with companies and attorneys around the world. It was quite an amazing experience, and I've grown so much from it.
Well, what a beautiful tribute,
yes,
to a great man. But I'm going to cut it up a little bit, if that's all right. You mentioned, because I know you made it almost sound like the decision was the lesion that was, because I know you've explained to me before that you had the choice between, was it Prudential?
Prudential Insurance,
and I know that was a big draw because, they had a great name in Pakistan and around the world, and, and you had that opportunity to step into what was normal, not what was normal, but what was traditional.
Right.
And then here you've got this guy who's charismatic and all of the things you described about him. Tell us a little bit more about that conversation that went on with Darius, because I know that he was follow your heart, and I get that in retrospect, it sounds easy, but it's not though, right? To make that kind of decision.
Yeah, considering we just moved into the Phoenix, into the Valley, we knew nobody here. We came because my husband had to work to do his internship with the county hospital here, so we had nobody really to go back on. And Prudential was something like you mentioned. We knew Prudential from Pakistan. They're around the world, and we knew that. And we knew the stability of the insurance company, but there was just something, the charisma, the connection. And that is what my conversation with Darius was about that, As much as we know Prudential, and Del Webb is an unknown, we'd never even heard of Del Webb at that point in time, but just that connection was so strong that he said, you have to go with your gut, you have to go with your heart, there is just no other way to go with this, and here I am.
44
plus years later.
And you still remember the draw.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Which is really powerful. You also mentioned something that resonated with me, and I've seen it across the world, and this idea that Rex believed in you more than you believed in yourself.
Yeah.
That's a very unique observation about Rex, because he had that capacity. Where did that come from, do you think, and why was it so powerful?
Rex believed in teams, and Rex loved people, and whatever he did in life, Forever Living Products to start out with, he did because he wanted to make a difference in the people's lives. And therefore, he gave you the leeway, to go out and show what you were capable of doing, and that was important to him. And through that, also with the FBOs, he showed the same thing. That, there were housewives, there were taxi drivers, there were people that became, and nobody even dreamt that they could do their own business. How many people have said, I did not know I could go speak in front of a crowd of people, right? How many people have said that? I mean, the first time I had to speak, Rex was known to suddenly throw you out there to the wolves, I would say, and say, you have to go speak right now. And the first time I know I had to speak the next day, I did not sleep all night. I fretted so much over this. It's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go out there. And I know that the FBOs will relate to that. Most of them will, with the fact that we don't want to do this. And now it's just like it becomes a part of you. The confidence that is partially forced onto you, and that you learn from it and you gain them. But he was always supportive. No matter when you came off the stage, he was always like, high five, well done, you did great, you were amazing. So that really helped boost your confidence.
That's a great point, because even though you may have messed it up, and we all have, right?
Right.
He'd always come us, and he'd be the first one there.
Right.
Good job, man. Good job, man.
Right.
And I remember those, and it's amazing how that instills confidence for you to go on and
Sure.
and to succeed more and more.
Yeah, he was still building on your strengths. I mean, he didn't really make a big deal about your weaknesses. You were the one who beat yourself up more than he ever did, and so that was amazing.
In our discussions with Ruth and the family earlier, they talked about Rex's courage. I know that's something you've commented about a lot over the years, is there's times when, you would advise to pull out or to don't do that, and yet he plows forward. What did you learn from that example of courage, and how did you apply that into your life as a mother, your life as an executive and a businesswoman? How did that example help you succeed?
Rex always took chances. But the key was he didn't look at it as they're taking a chance. He just was so set on his goals, on what he wanted to do, that to him it can be achieved. It is not a setback. You know, I mean, even if there were any issues we faced, okay, how do we work around that situation? So it was kind of so interesting for me that even when things were difficult, when going like, okay, we need to send more money to this country, or we don't, you know, we've got this issue, we can't get the product approvals, and some of the countries took 2 or 3 years to get product approvals. It's like, do we continue spending this kind of money without a single penny coming back in? And the question was, of course. We are committed, we've told people we're going to do it, and that was really something Rex was very big on. If he gave his word that he was going to do it, no matter what it took, he was going to do it. And that was an amazing experience for me too. And obviously, I learned so much from that too that I could apply that in my own life and as I raised my family. So, very...
We saw glimpses of that, you know, traveling with him when he would never say, someone say, sorry, the plane's left or whatever. That was no. For everyone else maybe, but not for me, you know.
Yeah.
That was a real treat to be with him and to feel of that energy. It almost felt like he could change the way that the world was turning.
The dynamics, right, of the situation, because he wasn't going to take a no for an answer.
Yeah.
I mean, to him, it's like, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to go drive here or through the middle of the night?
Yeah.
And through in Nigeria, they did
Across
that because
Africa,
the plane across Africa, it's like, oh my God, most people wouldn't, and he was so confident, we are going to go. So that's Rex, and that's his psyche, and that's his just go grab it, grab the opportunity, and make the most of it.
It's like Sony said, he's always, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next?
Aye.
It's very true. You worked with him for 44 years. Sat by him, listened to him, all the ups and downs, all of the goods, the bads, and you know, like we said, you know him as good as anyone. What are you going to miss about him?
Everything. I can't pick one thing that he was such a presence, right? I mean, I spent more waking hours with him than I did with my family, when you think about that, right? Yeah. So it's hard, like everything, like he's not going to be at the end of the phone, you know, he's not going to be calling me. Even through COVID, you know, I saw him at least once a week, twice a week sometimes. He'd pick up the phone, so what's going on? He cared about the people. He'd ask, is everybody okay? Is everybody healthy in the office? What's going on? He was always like, tell me more. What can I do to help? I wish I could do more to help. So every aspect of it, the way he cared about the people, the way he loved people, the way he got along with people, you know. And in one thing that really stands out in who Rex was is his ability to forgive. It was huge. Yeah, I mean, so many people have hurt him and the company over the years, but not a bad word has been said about any of them, even through lawsuits or whatever else. He did not dwell on that. And that has been a huge lesson for me to say, you know, you have to forgive and you have to forget and put it behind you, because you're doing more harm to yourself by carrying that burden and that baggage than just dropping it and letting it go. So that was a big lesson for me. Wow.
You know, over this hour and a half or so of this presentation, we hear all these adjectives to describe Rex, and I suppose at the end of it we would have built some picture, you know, of who Rex really was. And one of them that is poignant and powerful is his capacity to forgive.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'd witnessed that so many times, and you'd be, you know, and you're right, people that stole from him, or, you know, and he'd always be, let's just move on, you know, and that's a beautiful thing. I asked the Maughans earlier about legacy and what the FBOs can do to continue Rex's legacy. And if I asked you that question, in your opinion, knowing Rex so well, what do you think that we need to do in order to continue that legacy and to make it grow?
Help people, right? That's all that Rex wanted us to do, is help people, make a difference in the lives of the people. And how do you do that? By making sure they know about the opportunity, about our great products, I was telling Greg the other day, he's sitting up in a chair now where he can see the entire world and not in his office. So we all had better carry forward that legacy because we are being watched. And so we need to make sure that we do what he's taught us for all these 44 years now and carry it forward. And it's amazing because when you see the messages from the FBOs, thousands of those, they're all saying the same thing. We've got to make Rex proud and we've got to carry this legacy forward. And I think we're all committed to doing that.
Love it. Love it. I love it. Well, folks, we've had a few minutes with Nawaz, one of Rex's closest friends and confidants, and thank you so much for being so personal and so open at such an obviously difficult time. I suppose as we consider what our lives look like and what the future looks like for us, and imagine us 44 years from now or 80 years from now when someone's talking about us, the question should be, what would they say? And if they would say something even half as nice as this, we'd probably had a successful life. So ponder that as we move on to our next guest.
Rex never hesitated to want to reach new places and introduce others to forever. After all, he believed health and wellness had no borders. As the love for the product spread, expansion was only natural, though it came a lot faster than anyone, including Rex, imagined. Each rally or event would bring new people into the business, and those people had family members across the world who were also interested in what Rex had to say. What started in Rex's garage expanded over the course of 40 years to reach 160 countries and millions of people selling products under the Forever name. Across every continent, today's Forever carries the strength and the foundation Rex built all those years ago.
What do you say about a man who has everything? Not has everything, is everything. Everything that is wonderful, everything that's loving, everything that's noble. He's Rex Maughan. And my name is Amarjeet, retired country manager for FLP India. I had the privilege of knowing Rex for many, many years. I had the honor of spending time with him, personal time with him. And what was amazing about this person was he would put his arm around anybody. It didn't matter to him what your background is. You're a human being, so you are full of love. But we had an opportunity in Jodhpur. Jodhpur is a Maharaja country. And in Jodhpur, we had a rally over there, and the Maharaja was staying in the palace itself. And he does not give interviews, but Nikita managed to arrange an interview with him, and we were told you have 15 minutes with him. We met the Maharaja, and after over an hour, we were still talking and drinking tea and exchanging views about the world. And that was an amazing experience for me personally, because the man is such a humble person. While we were in Jodhpur, he noticed a street vendor playing his musical instrument, and he was so fascinated by it. Long and short, he started taking instructions from the street vendor, and it was so fascinating to watch him. He was having fun, he was joyful, and he was enjoying it. And what is more important, he was making the street vendor feel like a Maharaja. It's all about taking risks in the world whenever you want to do something amazing. This man, Rex, he took the risks, but for everybody else. He took the risks to make sure that you and I did not take any risks. He wanted to make sure that everything is stable for everybody else, but he would always dig deep into his pockets to make sure the distributors are happy, the company is reliable, the company is trustworthy, the company is ethical. That was his philosophy. At a personal level, I feel very humbled and honored to have been part of this tribute to Rex Maughan. Because of you, we were able to enrich lives of many millions of people in India, where people in India would only earn a few $1,000s a month. and now becoming millionaires. That is the power of forever. That is the power of love. That is the power of you, Rex Mourn, the legend. Thank you so much.